Hello, Jamie from Inky&Scrappy, sharing with you today my Craft Roulette challenge number 205, an envelope pocket card. So I brought out some old dies. So I'm using Bo Bunny's Royal dies and then Tim Holtz's envelope die. This one's an oldie. I haven't used either of them forever, and so I thought it would be fun to pull them out. And then, of course, nothing says party like a rainbow. So I brought in the Really Rainbow 6x6 paper pack from Fawn, and then, you know, cut out all the things, made my desk a mess, found some stamp sets that I liked and I thought would go well with it, and started from there. So I'm picking this rainbow pattern stripe paper out and then just cutting that down to my card base front. So it is a 4.25 by 4.25 by 5.5. And then I have some scraps of paper in my Really Rainbow pack, so I was thinking of using this one for my 3 stripes. So I cut them down to about a 1/2 inch a piece. They're not exactly perfect. I wasn't worried about them being perfect at this point. And then, of course, I needed to fold my envelope. So my envelope I die cut out of some vellum paper. This vellum is like the vellum that I bought when we were getting married and I made all of our own invitations and programs. Yeah, I have a whole ream of it, or had a whole ream of it. I probably still have about 150 sheets. I'll be using it for a while. So once I had that kind of semi put together, I needed something to put in the envelope. So I brought in the little rounded rectangle die from the Lawn Fawn's Flippy, Flappy interactive card, and I will use that for my artist trading card, I guess, in this one. It was kind of where I was going with the little envelope and having something tucked in the pocket. I liked the size of this one just because it kind of gave me a bookmark feel, and I don't know, it just worked, right? So I had die cut those strips using that same die so they would line up and at an angle. I thought it would be fun, and then I changed my mind. I'm a girl. I'm allowed to do that. It is what it is. So I'm going to take my stamped image here, or my stamp here, which is Bun Intended. I think it's number 3. I can't remember. I will put it in the description box below. It is from Ink Road Stamps. All of the stamps that I use today are actually Ink Road stamps. 3 different sets I pulled out, so I've been enjoying playing with them. So I did stamp that twice with some VersaFine Onyx black ink, brought in my Ranger clear embossing powder, and then I'm going to heat set that. I love the look of the Onyx black ink with clear embossing powder over the top. I just think it gives it such a, I don't know, professionally finished look. I don't know. It just gives it an elegant look, and I love the feel of the embossing powder and the gloss to it. It's just, yeah, you know. And then some of us realized that we didn't heat set the one part all the way. It happens. So when I was lining this up in my stamp platform, which is off camera, sorry about that. My desk was a mess. I only had so much room to work, right? I realized that it should fit perfectly on top of those 2 strips of paper. So it's about 1 inch tall-ish. Well, I didn't measure, so it's probably a little under 1 inch my sentiment wise. And so I decided to just bring in a strip of paper, cut it, and I will get 2 of my 3 strips of paper in this way. And then not lining up the color, so it kind of has a shift in the color pattern, but my lines still line up. I kind of thought it was fun. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and cut around it. I could have ran it through the die cut machine to get that stitched, but I really liked the non-stitched look on the bottom part. I'm also not going to heat set any embossing powder on my actual sentiment for this one. So I'm just coming in with that VersaFine Onyx black ink to do my sentiment on the bottom of this one, which says, "You are powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and brave." I just thought it was a gorgeous sentiment to go with, you know, a fun ATC/bookmark style pullout. And then, of course, it also went very well with, I'm using in the Hope Volume 1 stamp set, and I'm using the sentiment that says, "You're busy doubting yourself. Well, everyone else is admiring your strength. I thought that sentiment went with the pun intended sentiment very well. And I liked having both of them on the card, one hidden by the other. And so you kind of, you know, see the affirmation on the inside card that the outside is kind of telling you. I don't know. It was, yeah, an inspiring work of art this week. So I'm going to trim down that piece of paper. I think the envelope is about 4 inches wide. I trimmed it at a little over 4 because I didn't know for sure. And so I probably trimmed it at 4 and like 1/32 or 1/16. And then later you'll see that I have to trim off just a teeny tiny little bit. I'd have rather had too much than too little. You know how you measure twice, cut once. Well, I tend to only measure once. So I like to give myself a little bit of wiggle room, and then I can always come in later with a scissors and trim off anything that might be overhanging. So I did die cut both of the larger crowns out. I didn't know exactly which one I wanted for this card, and so I ended up doing both. I cut out a bunch here because I played with where that crown was going to go for a very long time. I wanted it on top, I wanted it on the top of the head, I wanted it underneath. And so ultimately I'm going with the smaller of the two crowns and kind of just putting it on top of the envelope there so it kind of sticks out from behind the bun intended image, and so it kind of looks like a crown on her head, kind of, sort of. You know, it is what it is, right? And then for my big crown, I decided to pop that onto the inside of my card. Finish poking out all of the little things that didn't actually fall out. Please tell me I'm not the only one that, you know. I think the, like, metallic part stuck to the die, and so it looked kind of white-ish when I looked at it, but it was creamish against the card, so I had to go back and punch the rest of those out. And then for my sentiment on the inside, I'm using the Buzz, I think it's Buzz Off stamp set from InkyandScrappy Stamps that says Slay Queen, because, you know, yeah, it was just a lovely, encouraging card. That's where I was going with this one. So once I have my inside sentiment done and my outside front done, and then of course I'm going to put it onto one of my wonky card bases, so I did have to trim off a little bit there. No harm, no foul. And then of course, because I tend to get inky fingers and I smudged the bottom, I needed to fix said smudge. Yeah, you see it there, don't you? Nice big old black fingerprints. Don't worry. They ever need my fingerprints for anything, they just have to remove some paper on my cards and they'll find fingerprints all over the place. Anyways, so this one worked. I just brought in an older punch and added a coordinating holographic strip to the bottom of my project here. So for my ink road parameters, I have a project with an envelope on it. I just ended up cutting off the flap because I didn't like it covering up my crown. Hello. Party colors are rainbow this week, and well, it's party colors, but I picked rainbow. For my crown, I have a crown right there. I also have a crown on the inside. And then for my 3 strips of paper, which was random, I have 1, 2, and 3. Those were my original 3. The added one was to cover up my inky fingers. Yeah, it is what it is, right? So you are powerful, beautiful, brilliant, and brave. So just a pretty simple one, but definitely lots of color today. All right, I hope you have an amazing rest of the day. Bye! Remember to go check out Merry Gun Fun and Craft Roulette. The Craft Roulette channel is linked below, so go check it out. It's always a inspiring good time. And remember to keep getting inky. Bye!